Step into the unknown with the shadow frequency and your host, Matt Wilson, as he takes you where the shadows hum.
Oh, come on, you rusty old beast. Give it up already. Welcome, listeners, to the Shadow Frequency. I'm Juniper, your producer. Elbow deep in the archives tonight, digging through this ancient file cabinet for something juicy. You'd think tonight's file would be on top. Note, receipts, coupons from 1997. Oh, hey, a pair of socks. Hope they're clean. Wait, what is that? Matt, come here for a second. There's a light coming from the bottom of the drawer.
A light? What, like a glow stick fell in there?
No, it's weirder. It's pulsing, like the world's tiniest rave happening in the file cabinet of doom.
Huh? Okay, yeah, that's not normal. Maybe we've accidentally opened a portal to, I don't know, the land of lost paperwork?
Or the land of lost socks, which would explain this.
Whoa, watch it. Great. So it's either Eldritch Horrors or Laundry Day.
I want to reach in and find out.
Absolutely not. That's why you're the producer. I'll be in my booth. If the demon climbs out, just scream loud.
Comforting. Thank you. Now, socks, portals, and let's see. Bigfoot sightings? No. Homemade lighthouse has been there. Aha! Here it is, episode 183, the Hudson Valley UFO Flap. This file is practically glowing, stuffed with eerie accounts of silent V-shaped crafts haunting the skies of New York and Connecticut. Thousands of witnesses, strange lights, and a wild theory about time machines from a future Earth. This one's going to send chills down your spine. Matt, are you ready to dive into this cosmic mystery?
Oh, Juniper, you've outdone yourself with that file. I can feel the paranormal vibes already. This one's got my curiosity dialed up to 11.
Good, because those UFOs aren't waiting. Take it away, Matt, and don't get lost in the time stream.
Thanks, Juniper, for wrestling that file out of the archives. I owe you a coffee for that one. Speaking of that, I'm going to have me a sip of tea here real quick. All right, let's crack open this folder on the Hudson Valley UFO Flap, a series of sightings that gripped New York and Connecticut from 1982 to 1986. Picture this: quiet suburban nights, families looking up at the stars, when suddenly massive V-shape or boomerang-shaped objects, some as big as football fields, glide gently overhead. No engines, no roar, just eerie glowing lights in perfect formation, moving slow, almost like they're watching. From Westchester to Putnam to Dutchess counties, thousands of people, regular folks, cops, even pilots, reported these things. One night in 1983, a retired IBM engineer in Brewster, New York, saw a craft with multicolored lights hovering so low he could have hit it with a rock. He said it moved like it was alive, pulsing, then zipped away without a sound. Another witness, a school teacher in New Milford, Connecticut, described a boomerang-shaped object silent as a ghost, drifting over her backyard. She swore it felt like it was aware of her. These weren't one-off events. Night after night, people saw these craft, sometimes in groups, sometimes alone. The Taconic Parkway became a hotspot, drivers pulling over, jaws dropped, watching these things glide like shadows across the sky. Local police stations were flooded with calls. One officer in Yorktown said he watched a V-shaped craft hover for 10 minutes before it vanished, like it slipped through a crack in reality. Now let's dive into the time machine hypothesis. Imagine this. What if these UFOs weren't from another planet, but from a future Earth? The idea is that these silent advanced craft were piloted by humans, our descendants, coming back to observe their past. Maybe they were historians, scientists, or even tourists, studying the 1980s like we study ancient Rome. The way these objects moved, slow, deliberate, sometimes vanishing, feels like they were careful not to disturb the timeline. Why the Hudson Valley? Maybe it's a key historical point, a nexus of events we don't yet understand. Witnesses often described a feeling of being watched. One woman in Poughkeepsie said the lights on the craft seemed to shift when she waved at it, like it was responding. Could that be a future human peering through some advanced viewport, taking notes on our quaint little lives? The technology, silent propulsion, lights that defy 1980s engineering, screams something far beyond what we had then. Even J. Allen Hynek, the legendary ufologist, leaned toward interdimensional or time-based explanations later in his career. He thought UFOs might be slipping through layers of reality, not just space. The patterns are chilling. These craft didn't just buzz military bases or remote deserts, they hovered over populated areas, like they wanted to be seen. Why? Maybe they were testing how we'd react, or maybe they were leaving clues, breadcrumbs for us to piece together later. The Hudson Valley Flap wasn't just a few lights in the sky, it was a phenomenon that left people questioning reality itself. Juniper, this file's giving me goosebumps. What do you think so far?
Matt, I'm half expecting a boomerang UFO to hover over the studio right now.
Right.
Those stories, it's like the future's knocking on our door. Keep going, I'm hooked.
All right, let's hold that thought and take a quick break. Over to you, Juniper.
Goodness, listeners, are you feeling that eerie hum in the air? The Hudson Valley UFO flap has us wondering if time travelers are out there watching us from the shadows of tomorrow. What do you think? Future humans or something else entirely? Hang on, because Matt's diving deeper into this mystery in just a moment. But first, let's send it over to Chris Beach to tell you where to find a shadow frequency. Chris, take it away.
Thanks, Juniper. If you're loving the Shadow Frequency, please like and subscribe and follow us on YouTube, TikTok, Facebook, and all major podcast directories. Visit our website at shadowfrequencypodcast.com to catch all our episodes. Leave a voicemail telling us where you're listening from. We might feature it in our next episode. Check out our Shadow blog for companion articles to our episodes, grab some cool swag from our store, or support us by buying us a coffee. Now let's get back over to Juniper for a dive into the mailbag, where we share your thoughts and stories. Back to you, Juniper.
Thanks, Chris. Now it's time for our mailbag segment where we fire up the spectral cosmic message materializer. Let's just flip these old ancient switches here. All right, there it goes. Humming along, it's going to spit out today's message. All right, it has materialized. Let's crack it open and see what we got. Dooley-doo, dooley-doo. All right, this one's a gem. Here we go. All right, here's a message from Cody in Idaho. He says, "Hey, Matt and Juniper, just wanted to drop you a quick note to say how much I appreciate the show. Out here in Idaho, there's nothing better than sitting out on the porch in the cool evening air, a cup of coffee in hand, and letting the shadow frequency keep me company. Something about the way you guys dive into the weird and unexplained, it just hits different, art as the stars. Keep the stories coming. You got a fan in the sticks out here tuning in with the crickets and the coyotes. Stay strange, Cody in Ohio." Oh, Cody, you're painting such a vibe. I can just picture you out there. Coffee steaming, stars twinkling, and maybe a UFO or two zipping by with the coyotes howling in the distance. Thanks for tuning in and keeping it strange with us. Listeners, want to join the cosmic conversation? Drop us a line at shadowpodcast@protonmail.com. All right, Matt, back to you for the second half of this time-bending tale.
Thanks, Juniper, and a big shout out to Cody for that awesome message. All right, let's flip back to the Hudson Valley UFO flap and the time machine hypothesis. We've got thousands of witnesses, silent V-shaped craft, and this wild idea that they might be future humans visiting us. But let's dig deeper into what makes this theory so compelling and where it gets tricky. The behavior of these UFOs is key. Witnesses consistently describe them as slow-moving, almost leisurely, like they were sightseeing. In 1984, a group of friends in Danbury, Connecticut, watched a boomerang-shaped craft hover over a reservoir for nearly 20 minutes. They said it felt like it was scanning the area, its lights pulsing in a rhythm that seemed intentional. If these were time machines, maybe they were collecting data, air samples, cultural snapshots, or even monitoring specific people. The Hudson Valley's mix of rural and suburban areas could have been a perfect cross-section of 1980s life for future researchers to study. Then there's the Vanishing Act. Multiple reports mention these crafts fading out, like they were dissolving into thin air. One guy in Peekskill said he watched a V-shaped object blink out, like someone flipped a switch. Time travel tech could explain that, slipping back into their own era or even another dimension. The idea is not new. J. Allen Hynek himself speculated that UFOs might not be from out there, but from another time or reality layer. The Hudson Valley's recurring sightings, concentrated in specific counties, could suggest a targeted mission, like future scientists pinpointing a historical hotspot. But here's where a bit of skepticism creeps in. As much as I'm drawn to the time machine idea, we have to consider other possibilities. The 1980s were a hotbed for experimental military tech. The stealth bomber, for example, was in development then, and while it doesn't match the V-shaped descriptions perfectly, the military was testing all kinds of classified aircraft. Could these sightings have been top-secret prototypes, mistaken for something otherworldly? The Air Force did have bases nearby, and they weren't exactly chatty about their projects. It's possible some of these sightings were terrestrial craft, cloaked in secrecy, not time travelers. Still, the sheer number of witnesses, over 7,000 documented reports, and the consistency of the description make it hard to dismiss the paranormal angle entirely. These weren't just lights in the sky, they were massive, silent, and deliberate. Photos from the time, grainy as they are, show those distinctive V-shapes with rows of lights. Radar data from local airports occasionally picked up unexplained blips too. If it was military, they were pulling off something way ahead of their time. The time machine hypothesis also raises spooky questions. If these were future humans, what were they looking for? Were they studying a pivotal moment, like the Cold War's peak, or something we don't even know about yet? And if they were so careful not to interfere, why show up overpopulated areas? It's almost like they wanted to leave a mark, a whisper from the future. Juniper, this one's got my head spinning. What's your take on these time-traveling shadows?
Matt, I'm torn between wanting to wave at a UFO and hiding under my desk.
Right.
That military angle's a buzzkill, but those vanishing acts, too creepy to be just planes.
Yeah.
Shall we wrap it up?
All right, let's send it back to you, Juniper, for the sign-off.
What a ride through the Hudson Valley's eerie skies, from silent V-shaped craft to the mind-bending idea of time travelers watching us. Episode 183 has left us staring at stars, wondering who or when might be staring back. Thanks for joining us on the Shadow Frequency, where the unexplained feels just a little closer. Keep those emails coming to shadowpodcast@protonmail.com. Don't forget, we're now on Rumble. Just look for the Shadow Frequency Podcast. And you can stay tuned for more chills next time. Matt, say goodbye.
Stay strange, everyone.
Until next time, keep your eyes on the shadows and your ears tuned to the Shadow Frequency. Good night.
Good night.
This episode was produced with a commitment to exploring the unexplained while grounding our discussion in documented discoveries. All interpretations are speculative and intended for entertainment purposes.